Well, the final match of the Australia Cup round of 16 may be an all-Victorian affair, but the Cup has still managed to throw up a rarely before-seen matchup, and it pits one of the Cup's most tenured teams against one of its newest. Nassiol Stadium, the home away from home for the Cup newcomers this year, North Sunshine Eagles, as they take on last year's NPL finalists, Heidelberg United. One last spots in the last 8 up for grabs. And with the news last night that an NPL team is now guaranteed a cup final spot on this side of the draw, it is a match with added impetus for two teams looking to distract from their flagging league form. Heidelberg currently in grip of an 8-game winless run and hoping that today is the next step back towards another shot at the silverware that slipped them by last season against the Bulls. But 21 places below them in the league pyramid and fighting relegation, the North Sunshine Eagles want their Cinderella story to continue into the quarterfinals. They have already beaten 2 sides from the league above to get to this point. Just the 4 wins between these 2 sides in the last 21 matches. They are 2 teams who need a sprinkling of magic in season 2026. Can the Cup deliver for them tonight? The last-minute change of venue from Ironbark Fields to Nassiol Stadium, the usual home of fellow NPL Victoria top flight side and Heidelberg opponent Hume City, has not stopped the crowd from turning out. Over 1,000 tickets sold pre-game in anticipation of this one. North Sunshine fans have travelled well, albeit not far up the road, as they look to become just the 2nd side ever from the state's 3rd tier to reach the quarterfinals. And this is their 11, and owing to their amounts of mid-season signings, there are 6 changes due to cup-tied players Hykopolis, Marmura, Mahindo, Mayan, Al-Sheikh, and Cup hero Julian Barras are all out, the latter having had to temporarily return home to France. 2 of his compatriots coming into the 11, Archie Polo and captain Corentin Chauve. The latter is a 100-game and 5-season fan favourite of the Eagles. John Anastasiadis has similarly swung the changes after Doherty Cup defeat to the Preston Lions. Lethlean, McGowan and Bramwell all dropping to the bench tonight. Christian Theoharis, the 102-game A-League Livewire, is the headline name amongst the 3 additions. And goalkeeper Yaron Souza will play his 100th Heidelberg United game tonight. He is currently playing through the pain of a shoulder injury that he has returned from weeks earlier than previously anticipated. There's your referee team for today. Michael Ulyaris, the man in the middle, Thomas Gelati and Dante Diaz, the assistant. Tom Brinkworth is the 4th official. Heidelberg United conquered all before them, save for the Newcastle Jets in the Cup last year, slaying A-League giants left, right and centre. It's inspired the rest of the NPL landscape this year. 6 Cup sets so far in this edition of the tournament. And they are still hoping that despite their flagging league form, they can have a big say. There is Ben Isaiah, living legend of North Sunshine Eagles, his 24th year in association with the club, bearing in mind he's only 41 and his 11th season as head coach of the Eagles. It's been a difficult season for those fans in the league, currently sitting 13th in VPL 1, the 2nd tier of Victoria, and well in grip of relegation danger. There is John Anastasiadis taking charge of his 112th game for Heidelberg United tonight, looking to qualify the Burgers for the 6th quarter-final spot in their history. It would be an extension of their own record as an NPL club. No one has done it better than the Burgers when it comes to Australia Cup success from NPL sides. But North Sunshine Eagles, they know that they face a wounded giant this evening. And despite all of the regular season despair that VPL 1 has held out for them, the Cup has had no shortage of magic. Fingers crossed it is another dose for either of these 2 sides in desperate need this evening. Pleasure to have your company for it, wherever you are tuning in from. Sometimes these State v State affairs as North Sunshine get us off to a bit of a false start through Ibrahim Kadur. That throw never actually came back in to the field of play, so he's going to get a chance to take it twice. Hasn't made too much use of it, but it can often be a bit of eye-rolling when the Cup does serve up the matchups that feature two teams in the same state. Some of them you've seen before. This is not one of them. And the Burgers not quite able to fashion an early opening down the left channel from Max Bassetto. It is true, there are sometimes same state v same state Cup ties that can be repeats of what we've already seen. I mean, we only need to look at Sydney United and RPA Leichhardt beating for the umpteenth time tonight. But this tie is not one of those. It is just the second time in Victorian football history that Heidelberg United and the North Sunshine Eagles have gone head-to-head. Not since the Crazy Johns Cup in 2004. Present-day North Sunshine head coach Ben Isai was a player for the North Sunshine Eagles. It's Christian Theoharis getting the early Bronx cheers from the North Sunshine fans who have, must be said, absolutely packed out the grandstand. Heidelberg United looking to pick themselves up from what's been a difficult past 2 months in which the National Cup has been one of their solitary salvations. The State Cup ended in disappointment for them, 3-1 defeat to Preston Lions in the final on Saturday. That's a nice pass over the top. Bassetto draws a strong save out of Rory Bryan. The offside flag already raised, so the attacking move would have counted for naught. But a good sign of the kind of intricate football of which the Burgers are capable of at their best, that they showed so frequently in their fairy tale season last year, playing an Australian record 47 games in a single calendar year, albeit a record that is about to be eclipsed by South Melbourne's exploits across the state and OFC Pro League. Can they join their Greek derby rivals in the quarterfinals? It's picked off well by Kolo. His cross. He's going to set up for Khan Elibol on the right-hand side. A player who enjoys a bit of a homecoming tonight. He fires in the cross, but it's easy pickings for Ben Collins. The courageous captain and leader. Warrior in every sense of Heidelberg United's backline. 26 years of age, Ben Collins, but leads the Burgers with distinction. As he did to that Cup final last season, playing all but 2 games of that marathon campaign. Much like his teammates, has found the going a little tougher at points this season. That's a lovely ball for Asahi Yokokawa. And it really should have been the opening goal for Heidelberg inside 5 minutes. Yokokawa putting it on a platter for Bassetto. Trying to stab it in with the left foot. It's not an approach that served him well in the end. An early scare for North Sunshine Eagles. Just 2 wins in their last 10 games in all competitions, North Sunshine. Of course, one of those coming in their stirring national round debut away to FK Beograd. 3-2 winners against the team from South Australia's top flight. In truth, this has been a match that both respective head coaches, speaking to them earlier today, have really been looking forward to a mutual respect for the way these two sides play their football and positively approach the game, but also two managers who recognize the opportunity that cup nights and wins on them can benefit the belief and confidence of two sides who are a little strapped of it at the moment, at least where the league is concerned. Early ball robbed of the ball initially by Marcus Humbert. One of the Burgers' 3 scorers in their trip to South Australia to take on Cumberland United. Fairly comfortable, assured, and free scoring performance against the team managed by former Burgers legend in Phil Stubbins. Thea Harris. Find a way to pick out a teammate, and in the end has given away a bit of a frustrated foul. His efforts to win back the football. You saw Obiora, Obi as they call him, Eze, going to ground. Another who, like Hahn Elibol, is enjoying a bit of a return to familiar surrounds tonight. Here is Eze, just a heavy touch that allows Collins to clear. With Eze and Elibol on the left and right of your picture. Former Hume City players in NPL Victoria. From Jersey, Dos Santos, trying to make something happen for North Sunshine in the corner. North Sunshine have made more than 10 signings over the course of this season, picking up a lot of players who departed Western United's academy. The latest word is that their results in VPL 1 are soon to be voided, so that is going to be making for a very interesting twist in the relegation race, of which North Sunshine are presently a part. De Silva, though, one of their mid-season signings who is not cup-tied, having come across from the Channel Islands. Their standouts against Beograd, a goal and an assist. Preferred to seal a special night in North Sunshine's 56-year history. Save for that chance for Max Bisetto. It's two sides still very much in the feeling out process in this game. Humbert does well to feed the feet of Lesiotis. Does all of his teammates good work. Not a man who puts many feet wrong is Anthony Lesiotis. 141st Heidelberg United game for the kid who grew up at Olympic Village. Eze able to wheel around and go. Just presented a fraction too much of the football to Anthony Theo, but North Sunshine are on the move. De Silva's early delivery. Collins didn't quite get it, luckily for him. Humbert was there. And away from the interested clutches of Hahn Elibol. Actually a pretty cool, calm and collected presence, Ben Collins. Elibol. Corentin Chauve out to Kim Min Chan. the ball. What a pass through the lines. A chance here for Min Chan. Heidelberg come up with the stop, but a positive moment for sure for the side from Victoria's second tier. Live wire Hahn early ball with a crucial hand in its conception. Korean Kim Min Chan is nearly the beneficiary. The corner is easy pickings for Heidelberg's defense. Back in by De Silva, but only as far as the edge of the penalty area. Possession count practically dead even at the present moment. So you imagine Heidelberg as the side from the superior league will want to change going forward, not least because possession first football has been their stock in trade in 3 seasons now under John Anastasiadis. Ball breaks the way of Marcus Humberts. Heidelberg's top scorers this season, despite predominantly playing in midfield. He is a player with a real mind for getting himself into attacking pockets when they present. No such opportunity materializes this time. It's their 3rd season for John Anastasiadis, in which he admits the current run of form that they find themselves in is something he's only experienced once before as a head coach. This run where the results aren't coming, despite his belief that they are playing the right way. Bissetto. Humbert stayed on side. The cutback was a really interesting one, but only a red shirt. Corentin Chauve able to get on the end of it, and most of the cutbacks from which the Burgers at their best can be so devastatingly effective. Thea Harris. Footed in swinging into the box is a decent 1-2. Duarte trying to twist and turn. And Theo forces Rory Bryan into a bit of action, but not for the first time tonight. Heidelberg are denied by the raised flag of the linesman. Nice little nod down from Yokokawa to pick up Bissetto. Start to this game has been a bit rocks and diamonds at the present moment. Dos Santos, a great touch of the night sky, and he's only denied by some full stretch defending by Anthony Lesiotis. Dos Santos, a player in his eye, he's very happy to have at Larissa Reserve, the Eagles' Nest, or Naciol Stadium in this case tonight. Came across from the Jersey Bulls in his homeland, looking for actually a top-flight NPL contract, but visa slots filled across the league, and a talented young striker fell into his lap. Busetta was falling into the high-class surface here at Nassiol Stadium. Kim Chan just dropped anchor and Max Busetta did the rest. Opportunity for the mercurial talents of Christian Theoharis to show themselves in the round of 16. A well-weighted ball, but it's headed out to Humbets, who does have that sort of capacity within him, the 21-year-old. Beautifully gifted player on the technical side of things. Just didn't get the dip that he would have wanted that time for a 9th goal of the season. Not one of the players who was part of Heidelberg's run to the final last year, and they signed at Australian Championship time away from Melbourne City. Benissei would be more than familiar with him, having coached against him when Humbert was the captain of City's Academy in VPL1 last season. It wasn't that long ago when they were in the promotion playoffs in VPL1 alongside the Eagles. City, of course, going on to head up to the top flights. Manner of headaches for Heidelberg in their 2 home and away meetings this season. Humbert. Deft flick from Duarte. Lesiotis. Heidelberg building something nicely here. Theoharis has rather put the pin in all of the preceding promise. Shove out to Eze. Options on the far side, but Eze not able to pick them out. What he could do was find the midriff of Asahi Yokokawa. Would tickle for the dynamic Japanese midfielder. He's one of the 5 players still in this Heidelberg United squad tonight from the Australia Cup final last year. It was a run that inspired NPL clubs across Australia to dare to dream and reimagine what was and is possible, as we've seen. John Anastasiadis has lamented that perhaps it's come at some potential detriment to this season. There's been a lot of changeover, but those core 5 players have definitely felt the pinch of fatigue this season. Christian Theoharis not best pleased that that free kick has gone against him, the former Mariner and Western United and Melbourne Victory attacker. Making just his 2nd start since signing for Heidelberg United and reuniting with John Anastasiadis, who is the senior assistant coach at Western United. Sunshine Eagles just taking an opportunity to have a little spell on the ball. Will not fear top flight opposition, as you might expect many sides to from the league below. They did knock out Avondale in the preliminary rounds and push Preston all the way to the 88th minute in the Doherty Cup semi-final. This actually could have been the Doherty Cup final meeting on Saturday. We could have seen it twice in 3 days. Ellie Ball. It's another decent pass for Mohamed El Hawley. Eze trying to break on to the left foot. He stood up nicely. But North Sunshine do well to win it back through De Silva. El Hawley. De Silva getting set to take the throw. He is one of two De Silvas out there for North Sunshine, but no relation between either of the two as far as I understand. Shove. Harris able to flick it away. We'll let Heidelberg bring their lines up at the very least. Beautiful pass to pick out Shove. De Silva. This was a bit harassed and harangued in that congested centre circle. Humberts. Inviting and urging Bassetto on, and he obliges wonderfully. The cross is straight into the first defender. One places in the Victorian pyramid between them, but Heidelberg yet to really flex their top flight muscles. The North Sunshine Eagles. Anthony Theo scored in the blink of an eye against Cumberland United. Mortakudis. The ex-Mariners contingent in Nico Duarte. Another one of the scoring contingent from that Cumberland round of 32 clash. Humbert's high ball. Contested in the penalty area. And what's the decision from the referee? It's a Heidelberg United corner. Nico Duarte as well, the man who contested that aerial ball. You can see just cannon off the head of Ruben De Silva. Duarte, in addition to scoring in the Australia Cup, scored in the Doherty Cup final. Opened the scoring against Preston. We are just doing some additional sorting out in advance of Christian Theoharis' corner. In it comes, and away at the first time of asking by North Sunshine. Humberts. Bassetto this time denied by a nice piece of full stretch defending from Ibrahim Kadur. I'm sure his brother will be watching on tonight. Koda Kadur, who is not only another ex-Western United player, but is a player who currently plies his trade here at Nassau Stadium with Hume City. Kadur is a fairly large footballing family in the northern suburbs of Victoria. It's forced Ben Collins to go all the way back and doing what was actually a rather athletic task with a minimum of fuss. That is how he tends to operate. Rasmovsky has Theo in support, ignores him. And Sherv able to clear. Foul given away by Christian Theoharis. He's getting no shortage of attention, that much is true, but I'm a body language expert, but you maybe wonder if a bit of frustration was boiling over there. But the Burgers have picked it off in a promising position. Basetto gets the head down, cuts it square. And Sahi Yokokawa turns the ball into the side netting, similar to Max Basetto in the opening 5 minutes of this game. But I fancy that the ball had already rolled its way out of play before Basetto could fashion that cutback. A bit of a quieter season for Max Basetto after his grand final heroics last year against Dandenong City, where he was named the Jimmy Rooney medalist and at least one of the all-time grand final celebrations at Lakeside Stadium, diving onto one of the Olympic jumping mats. A celebration that was actually replicated against Heidelberg at the weekend by Zach Chianchi of the Preston Lions. Still fairly amusing the second time, I must admit. That lifter is at 6s and 7s with the run made by Rai Dos Santos. Heidelberg have definitely started to take more of a grip on the open play. You still get that sense that there are two teams out there who are maybe just playing with what else is going on in their footballing season at the back of their minds. There is plenty still to play out here at Nasiol Stadium. Heidelberg, for their part, still very much in the fight to secure finals football. It's not all doom and gloom. They're in a bad patch of form now, but that says more about the lofty standards that they've set under John Anastasiadis than anything else. Just 3 points clear in 6th position. From there, of course, anyone can win the finals. Nice touch from Kim Min Chan. Just provided a change of direction that his Heidelberg markers weren't quite anticipating. It's allowed things to open up a fraction for North Sunshine, but Illibol's pass, a fraction telegraphed. He's done well to win it back. And feed Obiora Eze. El Hawley to Ruben De Silva. Shove. Five years at Sunshine Eagles now for the Frenchman, signed from FC Chamalières in the Championnat National. He's one of Sunshine's longest serving active players now. Maybe only bettered by their currently injured captain, Nick Epifano. Here's out to Illibol. Fashions a pass for De Silva. The cross watched all the way by the Centurion, Yaron Souza. As mentioned, it's a shock inclusion to Heidelberg's Doherty Cup Final 11 on the weekend. Coming back some 4 weeks earlier than anticipated from a shoulder injury with the assistance of some local anaesthetic. He's been in regular dialogue with John Anastasiadis this week just to make sure the pain wasn't too much, and he's good to go. Consummate pro, having operated as a full-timer both at the Mariners and internationally in Malta, Malaysia and Turkey. Yokokawa. Movsky managing to hold his ground and hold on to possession. Having a lot of joy at the present moment, breaking this North Sunshine Eagles rear guard. Seto, the latest to find himself held up. It is a defense that's kept just the 3 clean sheets in VPO1 this season, North Sunshine, albeit the most recent of those coming in their last game, a 0-0 draw with Brunswick Juventus, the promotion hopefuls. Hawley, clever turn. That's got the fans back into the game of fraction. Here is Archie Colo. The in-campaign recruit for North Sunshine, a familiar one to this man, Corentin Chauve, also signed from FC Chamalières. Since Chauve's arrival, there has been a cavalcade of Frenchmen arriving at Larissa Reserve, of which Colo is the latest. Both of them also former teammates of the absent Julian Barras. Elibol. Just to go short to Kim Min Chan. Worked under the ball, and that affords it to the feet of Nico Duarte. It's an unorthodox clipper, and it's ineffective. I'm not sure if he got his boot behind the ball quite as intended there, Nico Duarte. Certainly a bit of a cat and mouse game with Rory Bryan, and this has been a bit of a cat and mouse game in the last 15 to 20 minutes. Sunshine starting to build something here, though. Eze with runners left and right. Ruben De Silva. Ball into the penalty area, away by Humberts. And De Silva gets in the road of Elibol. And the two teammates crossing wires and stymieing what could have been an opportunity to strike on the goal of Yaron Souza. Teams who are kindred spirits in that regard when you speak to how their coaches reflect on this season. Able to create chances, get numbers into the penalty area, but John Anastasiadis and Ben Isai complaining for whatever reason, be it fatal misfortune, sometimes find a way of getting in their own way. Ball burst onto the scene here at Naciol Stadium. Scored in his debut as a 16-year-old back in 2021. A club where he spent over 12 years. I've seen many nights where the grandstand is as full as it is this evening, certainly not with North Sunshine fans, that's for sure. Although Hume in their run to the quarterfinals in 2024 did turn out some good crowds. Chauve. Just a relieving pass for El Hawley. Silva not quite able to trap, and Duarte, it was an awkward one for him to collect, and in the end a task that proved too tall. No whistle from the referee. Lesiotis Moves again. Tight angle to work with, but he made it work. Razmovsky. Fiahara stopping and propping. Lesiotis in again. So many players in this Heidelberg side. With experience as full-time professionals, capable of reaching lofty heights. Haven't quite captured it this evening. Eze lifting it over the top. The race on between Collins and De Silva. De Silva goes to ground. And this could be a massive moment in this cup tie. What is the decision here from the referee? North Sunshine players surrounding from every direction. And Ben Collins caught out by the ball over the top. The running of Rai dos Santos. And this is a big call for Michael Oliaris to have to make. It's into the back pocket, and it's off goes the captain for Heidelberg. What a twist in this round of 16 tie. Ben Collins, the Heidelberg United skipper, who is so often a character who goes about his business with a minimum of fuss, is sent off in the first half. And here's why. They're coming together between he and Rai de Silva. And you can see the case that Collins was making to the referee. He believes that contact was shoulder to shoulder. You can make your own mind up at home. And after a bit of discussion with his refereeing team, Michael Oliaris reaches to the back pocket, and Ben Collins, Heidelberg United's fearless leader, is off after just 37 minutes. And now this cup tie, we're already North Sunshine in the back of their minds. We're starting to believe. It's given them all the more reason to get their hopes up. Let's another look at the moment that Ben Collins received his marching orders. You could see how quickly the North Sunshine players got right around the referee to make their case. It was a shoulder-to-shoulder challenge from Ben Collins will be a matter of debate. The solitary consolation for them is that one of their usual starting centre-backs in Ryan Lethlean was sitting on the bench tonight. Unfortunately, Christian Theoharis is the sacrificial lamb to allow the towering central defender to make his way on the field. John Anastasiadis, who already feels like he's had to suffer through his fair share of misfortune this season for Heidelberg, be it chances not falling their way, refereeing decisions going against them. To sit pat and watch on as another unfolded, albeit one that his opposing coaching staff will feel was the correct call. So you at home will have your own opinions on the situation. But the upshot is Heidelberg down to 10. And North Sunshine Eagles lining up a free kick from some 25 yards. And Corentin Chauve steps up, and it's tipped away by Souza. Nice effort from the Frenchman, who goes again. That one far more easy pickings for Heidelberg United. What a fascinatingly poised fixture this has become. Heidelberg United, this reputation as the most consummate semi-professionals that you can find. So often dealing with adversity with order and clarity of thought, calm, not chaos. Sunshine Eagles are a side that wants to create chaos. Who is going to get the chance to dictate this game on their terms, especially now after that Ben Collins sending off? Australia Cup National Rounds, this is the 19th fixture. 20th if you include Brunswick Juventus and Preston, who are playing not far from here in Faulkner at the moment, between second tier and third tier sides in the Australian football pyramid. The second tier side has won 12 of 18 going into tonight. It's one of the 6 to have upset a team from the league above is North Sunshine in the round of 32. We've never seen a Victorian third tier side knock off one from the NPL, or a Victorian second tier side I should say, in VPL 1, knock off a team from the league above. That has never happened. Osmowski's delivery past all the willing and waiting yellow shirts. There's another look at the red card incidents, and it does look on that angle at least that it starts shoulder to shoulder. Whether it ended shoulder to shoulder is a very different matter, and Heidelberg and John Anastasiadis will have their thoughts about the decision. Journier will also be concerned as to just how easily Heidelberg's back line was unpicked by one pass. A quality pass though it was from Obiora Eze. And now breaking through is Hahn Elibol. And the substitute left lean stands tall. To be fair, at his height he can do nothing but. No whistle there. El Hawley comes away with it. Colo, the Frenchman, looking to set something up for a teammate, but his cross is a wayward one. Still waiting for his first contribution in North Sunshine colours. The 28-year-old. Played at some very high-profile clubs in his youth days, the likes of Clermont and Montpellier. Seto. Shove. Heidelberg will be very keen indeed to get to this halftime break all square. Remember, it is the side who have walked in the footsteps of Heidelberg in cup-setting 2 A-League clubs back-to-back that awaits in Queensland, Lions FC, to face the winner of this game. Eze. Shove. Aidan Olds. Former Heidelberg United junior, coming up against his old club tonight. Ruben De Silva. Shove. Heidelberg have really thrown their numbers behind the ball, as we would expect a side in their present predicament to do. Ball into the box. Might drop here for Colo. Thwarted by Marcus Humberts. The problem that North Sunshine will potentially face as we step into 2 minutes of first half stoppage is that the game state may deny them any of that space in behind. Has allowed them to look dangerous in the moments where they have. It's a fascinating 45 to come. We head into it level after 45 minutes at Nassau Stadium. Eze. His influence on the game has grown and grown in this first half. Both he and Shove have seen a lot of the football. Kim Min Chan. El Hawley. Eze. Flips the ball in. Away by left lane. Min Chan couldn't reach in advance of Yokokawa. Duarte just trying to give Heidelberg a chance to have a hold of the ball. Seen very little of it since Ben Collins received his marching orders. They would love to strike against the flow before the break. Yokokawa coming together with Olds. There's a few half-hearted appeals from the travelling Burgers support, most of them amassed in that left-hand corner. Colo. El Hawley. Final seconds of first half stoppage. The referee be generous enough to allow one more chance for North Sunshine. Eli Bowles' delivery, it's not a bad one at all. De Silva trying to break away. Eli Bowl. De Silva. Heidelberg clear. And that will bring to an end a fascinating first 45 at Nasiol Stadium. Between two sides vying for the last spot in the final 8. It is level at the break, but Heidelberg United are down to 10. The halftime score, North Sunshine Eagles 0, Heidelberg United 0.
Colours have been hoisted, allegiance sworn, battle lines drawn. This is football at its most passionate. It's the Sydney Derby. Again, it falls to Quoll. It's Derby delight for the red and black. The Western Sydney Wanderers against Sydney FC. Quintal, he's got his second. Revenge for Sydney FC with interest.
What are you doing?
We're planking.
It's because of our internet providers.
We're stuck in 2011.
Same slow internet speeds.
And high prices.
It's like a nightmare.
Enough planking. Superloop is a network purpose-built for the super-fast future of the internet. You are free.
Don't take it lying down, Australia. Refresh your internet.
League side before them last season on the route to the Australian Cup final last year. Heidelberg United.
Biggest teams are here.
Incredible stuff. Look at this atmosphere in here. It's unbelievable.
To face the best of the A-Leagues. All in one place.
That is champagne football.
The Winter Festival of Football. Only on Paramount Plus.
A sojourn to the Sunshine State awaits for the winner of the final game of the Hahn Australia Cup round of 16. But which of these two sides are going to be the one to take it out between North Sunshine Eagles and Heidelberg United at Nasiel Stadium? The answer is, at present moment, we're no closer to finding out than we kicked off. It is goalless between the side from VPL 1 and the team from the NPL's top flight. But that goalless scoreline does not tell the full story, because while Heidelberg United and John Anastasiadis' side are level in this game, they are down to 10. Their captain in the 37th minute, Ben Collins, was sent off after this coming together with Rai De Silva. Last man back, it was shoulder to shoulder. There were a bit of hands involved. It was contentious in the view of both sides. But in the end, the referee, Michael Ulyaris, decided that that was enough to hand the Heidelberg captain his marching orders. And the Burgers, if they want to reach the quarterfinals for a record-extending 6th time for an NPL side in the Australia Cup, they are going to have to pull out a backs-to-the-wall performance here at Nasiel Stadium tonight. Anastasiadis knows that it's the kind of last man stand of which his side are capable of, but they haven't been showing their best recently. They will need to tonight, because North Sunshine Eagles are going to come for them with everything in the massive second 45 that awaits here at Nasiel Stadium. We are back underway, ready to answer the question of whether North Sunshine Eagles could become just the third, or rather the second third-tier side in the Australian football pyramid to reach the Australia Cup quarterfinals. They will be joining a side who are actually set to exit the Cup tonight in doing that. Brunswick Juventus, the only team from the third level of the pyramid to reach the quarterfinal stage, as they did in their fantastic maiden voyage in 2019. Well, they went to Queensland in the quarterfinals as well. Obiora Eze stood up nicely by Anthony Theo. Ulyaris is just going to make sure the ball is brought back. Tas Mordakudis. He's been a very busy boy over the space of the last year. Tas Mordakudis recently arrived at Olympic Village for his first stint in Victoria after playing in the OFC Pro League with Auckland FC, and of course downing Heidelberg United's Greek derby rivals to win the final. A measure of revenge for him, having finished runner-up to South in the Australian Championship against the Marconi Stallions. Competition which unfortunately will not feature Heidelberg United this season, owing to their struggles in the league this season. The opportunity for another deep cup run. A spot in the final where there will be guaranteed an NPL side on this end of the draw still beckons for them. Rai De Silva. Away by Lethlean. This sit for the other De Silva, Ruben De Silva. He takes his time to find the Frenchman, Chauve. Mordakudis away. That's a clever intention on the flick from Anthony Theo. Worth mentioning that Heidelberg United have only ever failed at the round of 16 hurdle once in their history. They have played the most games in the Australia Cup of any side outside the A-League teams from the member federation core. Sydney United with the record for the most entries in the tournament, but Heidelberg have played the most games. And only once have they missed out on getting to the quarterfinals for the round of 16. 2 years ago, Oakley Cannons got one over them on penalties at the home of the Matildas. They've not been a side in recent years who have found themselves on the end of cup upsets. Quite the opposite, in fact. Duarte getting a lot of attention from Aidan Olds, and you could hear the call of he's all over him from John Anastasiadis. Those appeals are answered to by Michael Uliaris. Duarte. Eze. Real first half thorn in the side of Heidelberg as the game went on. Obiora Eze. His ball over the top to Ryder Silva that created the red card from Ben Collins. Lesiotis. One who understands the feeling of an early shower on the national stage. He was sent off for Heidelberg back in their 2023 quarter-final clashes. There's a bit of argy-bargy between Ruben de Silva and Anthony Theo. Lesiotis rather, sent off in 2023's cracking quarter-final with the Melbourne Knights. Saw the Knights come back from 2-0 down to win it in the 96th minute through Mitch Hoare. Back when Melbourne Knights' trip to the semi-finals was all the rage, only for Heidelberg to usurp those lofty achievements in years gone by. Theo breaks into a pocket of space. Great turn from Yokokawa, matched by the defending of Ibrahim Kadua. It was a rare chance for Heidelberg to unlock the game with 10. They'll get a chance to do it by way of a set piece here. The interventions or attempts to intervene from Mohamed El Hawley just proving a bit too nippy for Michael Uliaris' liking. It's a player with whom Heidelberg will be fairly familiar, Mohamed El Hawley. Played 4 seasons for Altona Magic in the top flight in NPL Victoria, and come through from their junior ranks to break into the senior side. Just his first season at North Sunshine Eagles. Never tasted a win against Heidelberg in his time in the top flight. Going to change that this evening. Nico Duarte! Well tipped over by Rory Bryan, who's called into his first major save of the evening. Both keepers now have made solid saves from free kicks. Nice bit of technique on display from Nico Duarte. He's hoping to make it back-to-back goals in the cup for the Burgers. Still could, the corner's on the way. From Marcus Humberts, Murakudis. There's the player looking at the back post. Eze will just get it away. Back to Kim Min Chan. Thumping header forward from Lesiotis. Will it drop here for Duarte? Not quite. Agile goalkeeping from Rory Bryan. those Heidelberg United fans who have moved across to the right flank to be where their team are attacking in the second half. Plenty to discuss from the sidelines tonight. What a wonderful line-breaking pass that is to the right-hand side for the fast feet of Elibol. The cool head of Anthony Lesiotis prevails in the end. It's getting a bit untoward between Duarte and Kim Min Chan. This is the kind of chirp that Sunshine are hoping will unsettle Heidelberg. It's been a game that has had plenty of that kind of niggle, and help but wonder if there is going to be a point at which that all could come to a boil. Obviously, Sunshine and FK Beograd in their round of 32 tie were engaged in some pretty hearty disagreement after the full-time whistle at Frank Mitchell Park. Of course, it was North Sunshine who had the last laugh. Lesiotis read that all the way. Okakawa, Lesiotis. A good switch from Bisetto to Bisetto, who feeds Humberts, who returns the favour. Rory Bryan again off the line swiftly. The ex-Avondale man. Out of the cup here with Avondale by the Wellington Phoenix in the round of 16 5 years ago. It's the year that Avondale went through from the round of 32 after Devonport Strikers forfeited their round of 32 tie. So it was COVID, a different time, of course. Elibol's delivery. The first this evening to sail over the willing targets. Flickered in and out of the game has Hahn Elibol, but the pockets have opened up. He has had the capacity to be a dangerous player. Sophomore season at North Sunshine for him. Of course, when he first made the trip across from Hume City, it was to join his brother, Birhan Elibol, at North Sunshine Eagles. Elibol now playing overseas in Turkey with Tindoru. There's a big family feel at this club. Sunshine Eagles, they have a tendency of sucking people in and getting generations to commit to the cause. Rory Bryan's brother Liam, until very recently, they were sibling teammates as well. There's a few sons of former players on the bench for the Eagles tonight as well. De Silva. I saw Yaron Souza, maybe he wasn't completely at the races and thought, why not? He's been in reasonable enough goal-scoring form since arriving at Larissa Reserve. Ray De Silva. 3 goals in 6 appearances. Back-to-back games since scoring now, so by his lofty standards, he'll be keen to add to that tally tonight. Rasmovsky, nice flick. Anthony Theo going on a marauding run and picking out a nice pass for Bisetto. This is more like it from Heidelberg. Bisetto can hit them from here and does, and it's just punched away by Rory Bryan. And even with 1 player less, Heidelberg Giving North Sunshine something to think about and a reminder of the in-possession quality that they do possess. Max Bassetto just trying to pick out that gap at Rory Bryan's near post. What would be his first goal in quite some time, over 100 days since Bassetto's ball to the back of the net. Sent in, Bryan punching up and half away. It'll be coming back from Lesiotis. Can he find the cross? It takes a touch, and that allows Shove to roost the ball into the night sky. Great pass to pick out Kane Razmovsky. His ball, not a bad one. Yokokawa, and it can't quite find Nico Duarte, the secondary scraps. It's a cross that results in the concession of another corner by North Sunshine Eagles. Different clusters of players for Asahi Yokokawa to aim at. You can see the signals. What does that mean? What does it produce? A header for Murakudis. But it was not the right direction from the defender. Heidelberg having a nice little patch here. Does this pressure pay? Razmovsky sent into the corner flag, and his cross right at the feet of Obiora Eze. De Silva pressured into a hopeful flick that found Carnelli Ball. Shove. El Hawley. Half an hour still to play at Nasir Stadium. Potentially more if neither of these sides can open the scoring. Eze twisting, turning, firing, and putting it straight into the arms of Yaron Souza. That could have been a moment for the man who, as you just saw, is now wearing the captain's armband for Heidelberg in the absence of Ben Collins. Another case of a moment's flashes kind of player. Obiora Eze. Ruben De Silva. Easy pickings for Tas Murakudis. There's quite a few players who can pull something out of nothing for North Sunshine, and the only hope, particularly for Ben Isai, who sees all of that at training and in games, but it's resulted in 13th position on the VPL 1 table at the moment. Just wish they could channel it more consistently. If they can channel it tonight, North Sunshine will make a bit of cup history, in fact. I mentioned that we've only seen a third-tier team knock out a club from the league above 6 times before in the cup. North Sunshine Eagles, with a win tonight, would be the first team ever to do it twice and back-to-back. Some of those subs will be hoping that they can come on and potentially be a hero. Here's a chance, though, for Colo. Tried to square it back, and the shot's on the follow-up. Flashes past the face from Mo El Hawley. Well, what's a way that would have been to open his North Sunshine Eagles accounts. There's another ball over the top that had the beating of Heidelberg. Colo was looking to tee up Eze, perhaps telegraphed it, and then Mo El Hawley had the goal gaping on that far side if he could just get it the right end of the post, but not to be. Broken over a year wait for a goal for Mo El Hawley. Hasn't scored since he was still playing for Altona at the tail end of the season against the Port Melbourne Sharks. Of course, relegated and in that scrap with North Sunshine at the present moments. El Hawley. Right to Silva. Nice drop of the shoulder. Really well done. Colo can't get the beating of Mortakudis. Eze. Theodoropoulos able to steal in. He's provided some nice moments of calm where disorder has started to bubble in the face of the Burgers. Great ball forward. Will this drop here for Yokokawa? It's comfortable keeping once again from Rory Bryan. He's been able to have the command of what could otherwise have been maybe moments. Colo. And the North Sunshine Eagles bench, as you can hear, not best pleased about the lack of a free kick coming the way of their flying Frenchman. Ben Isai, he's seen a lot in 24 years at the North Sunshine Eagles. Still not happy with that one. Years a player, 11th season as a coach. He's led them up through the state pyramid in the last few seasons as Bisetto, an awkward one, and the follow-up should be spilled in, but it's saved wonderfully by Bryan. Still alive for Duarte, the cutback miscued. Humbets will drop it down for Lesiotis, and Lesiotis blazes away. And somehow, Heidelberg United have conspired not to score. And that somehow is Rory Bryan. Top-class keeping to deny Duarte on the follow-up. Bisetto's ball took a touch. Bryan had to readjust quickly, and then how well did he recover? And the expression on the Heidelberg bench, well, isn't that a picture that tells 1,000 words? So Heidelberg already had to make an early first-half sub. They've now added with a double change. Anthony Theo coming off for Kieran Bramwell. And Asahi Yokokawa, you saw also leave the field of play to be replaced by Jay McGowan. So those are a curious couple of substitutes from John Anastasiadis, because that means he's brought on an additional striker, or at least a player who usually does play as a striker in Kieran Bramwell. So will that prompt a change in formation from them? Time will tell. I could not believe it. It was Nick Delagianis, the football manager, in disbelief. This is why. First save solid enough, but the second from Bryan is brilliant. That Burger bench will really be feeling that Nico Duarte should have finished his dinner. An open and shut case for Michael Uliaris. That time, Archie Colo does get the free kick he wanted earlier from Kane Rapsmovsky. Kudul got on the move and picked out Elibol, who wants to drive and delight these North Sunshine fans. He finds an opening, and it's over the head of De Silva Rai and past the reach of De Silva Ruben. Colo takes the ball in stride. Is the ball already out of play before Yaron Souza collected? Michael Uliaris says yes. of Coco. That is the nickname for North Sunshine captain, Corentin Chauve. Chauve's corner. Flicked away by Yaron Souza. El Hawley now. Kadua sets his sights to the penalty area, and it's confident keeping from Yaron Souza. Kept no less than 3 clean sheets against A-League opposition. He really was one of the, I mean, not that any player was bad in Heidelberg's fairy tale run last year, but Souza was a serious standout. A series of exceptional goalkeeping performances. His return ahead of time has granted John Anastasiadis a bit of relief to his injury list. Been without one of their first choice fullbacks in Carlos Sullivan for a long time. He's back on the bench tonight. Chok Dow still absent, having suffered a serious rib injury that required him to go to hospital a few weeks ago away to Avondale. Fletcher Fulton broke his nose in the round of 32. Jay McGowan pulled back the camera, showing a very clear sign of which way that one was going to go and why it went the way it did. See Corentin Chauve become the first North Sunshine player into the book. Kolo engages his battle with Rasmovsky. When it does come to the subject of absentees, Ben Isai will be, even if they are the rules, playing a pretty small violin for John Anastasiadis. Mentioned no less than 6 players. If he's a cup tie tonight, Sunshine having picked up about 4 or 5 from Western United after in the wake of their collapse. Captain Nick Epifano, they've been out without him for a while, and over 6-season veteran of North Sunshine, he would have loved to play tonight, not least because of his happy memories taking on the Burgers as a iconic title-winning figure for South Melbourne of yesteryear. Aidan Olds, centre back with a rare forward foray. Still up for grabs at Nasiol Stadium. 19 minutes of the regulation to go. It was a slow, methodical build, but it's been brought to a close very quickly. To wait a long time, North Sunshine, for their go on the national stage. They're one of Victoria's biggest remaining clubs not to have made the national rounds previously. They've played, I dare say, the record number of games for a Victorian side without actually qualifying for the national rounds prior to this year. A lot of deep runs, but just never going all the way, always falling at one of the penultimate hurdles. Can they take this magical journey all the way to the Sunshine State? Lions FC awaiting Queensland for the winner of this final round of 16 tie. both want the away day. Who's going to get it? Bramwell picks a nice pass for McGowan. This is really promising for Heidelberg, but Duarte, he was offside. There's a bit of consternation as to whether he was or wasn't. It was a bit of a will he, won't he raise the flag dynamic between Nico Duarte and the referee. Disappointing end to what could have been quite the sequence, quite the opportunity for the Burgers. So Bramwell, curiously, is taken up a central position for the most part so far for Heidelberg. The fact that so many attacking changes came on in a game that is precarious and will only get more so as the players that started the game tire, tells you the extent to which Heidelberg's coach, John Anastasiadis, is not a manager that dies wondering. Even in this season that he himself describes as bizarre, doesn't compromise from the principles. Nice lift. Ellie ball goes to ground. That's just unfortunate. That's unlucky. It's a pretty good surface. One that Khan Ellie ball knows well, but not that patch. Onto the turf. But be intrigued as to how these two sides will take to the task of the final 15 minutes. I guess the good news of having so many absentees for North Sunshine is they are almost playing with two separate teams across the league and the cup. Ben Issei said he's got 26 players, first team players at training at the present moment, so there's quite a few players who have barely been cited in the league in recent times who are starting tonight. Bissetto, can he find the gap this time? Max Bissetto. In comes Humbert, he goes to ground. A big decision for Michael Ulyaris again. And there is no whistle forthcoming to the aid of Heidelberg United. If they personally were already feeling a fraction aggrieved by the first half red, they will be seeing red now. That will be worth a second inspection indeed. Kim Min Chan. Sunshine need to bring their raucous support back on side for the final throws of this game. Ellie Ball's cross, Eze's overhead attempts. He's going to bring about a whistle in the penalty area, going in Heidelberg's favour, not the one they want. Will draw the Eagles brewing attack to a close. Anastasiadis in fervent discussion with the fourth official, and this is why. Marcus Humbert made his way around Kim Min Chan. Did he clip Marcus Humbert? Have to warrant a penalty. I have to say, on that angle, appears tricky to argue. Ulyaris was well placed though, just as he was to spot this comparatively easier to judge infraction. They're going to be having fun regardless of result tonight. Hayden Olds. 12 minutes to go in the 90 at Naciol. supports, wearing a hoodie. Not to be definitively sure from that distance, but it does bear a striking resemblance to Melbourne City's Bessian Kudleshi. I could be wrong. It's a famous North Sunshine family, though, that one. His father, Besnik Kudleshi, the assistant coach to Ben Isai. Bessian, of course, a former junior of North Sunshine. This is his younger brother, Rinor Kudleshi, who's also coming through the ranks at City. Had Lions not knocked City out of the cup, there is every chance that that family story could have played out on the national stage. Bisetto, back to Humbert. He goes to ground again, and this time it is a penalty. Well, he wasn't convinced in the previous instance, Michael Ulyaris. But this time the whistle was swift. You can see the hand gesture. He spotted a pull of the shirt that he didn't like. And the Burgers are going to get a golden chance to turn this tie with 10. And again, Marcus Humbert's enthusiasm for getting forward. He's the agent of North Sunshine's undoing. And well, it was a light tug, and Humbert didn't need a lot to go to ground. It was there. And Kano Libol left himself very little room for counter arguments. And it means that Heidelberg United, the 10 men, have the chance to hit the front with 10 to play. And Anthony Lesiotis, who scored against A-League opposition in the round of 16 last year, is the man with the weight of responsibility on his shoulders. Saved by Brian! And he gathers it on the follow-up. Well, it's another special moment in this Cinderella story for North Sunshine. Heidelberg thought for sure they'd be hitting the front. And Rory Bryan is building a goalkeeping performance that could be heading towards North Sunshine folklore. A superb stop, both once and then twice. And he is revving up the crowd, so too he should. What a Herculean effort from Rory Bryan. This is another look at the penalty. The tug of the shirts on this angle is there for all to see. Anthony Lesiotis was denied. Not his best penalty, to be fair, but with McGowan and Duarte both closing in, Bryan still had work to do and smothered up the second effort. And he is slowly becoming a North Sunshine Eagles hero in this game. One that is still up for grabs. Duarte in the race with Ibrahim Kadua. And Bryan launches clear. This is a keeper in Rory Bryan, who for the most part in the top flight in the years that he would have come up against Heidelberg was mostly a reserve goalkeeper. Another who never played in a win against the Burgers, be it for Avondale or this ground where he used to play for Hume City. Bisetto. How will Heidelberg respond to the disappointment of that penalty save? Get themselves a set piece. And for the first time tonight, North Sunshine Eagles will turn to their bench. And it's a very curious substitution indeed. Khan Elibol is going to be coming off, but it's a curious substitution because North Sunshine Eagles are turning to the one man with a track record of scoring against Heidelberg United, Shifa Ahmed, the 19-year-old who rose through the ranks and broke out as a 17-year-old at Green Gully, is on. Free kick has been taken quickly by Heidelberg. The shot's on the turn. Turned out for a corner. Shifa Ahmed. His debut for Green Gullies, a 17-year-old in 2024. 5 goals in his debut season off the bench as a top-flight player, including against Heidelberg in August of 2024 and a 2-0 win. A rare defeat that season under John Anastasiadis for the Burgers. Could he engineer another this evening? Heidelberg's corner to come before all of that. It's not McGowan's best. De Silva. Lesiotis slid in. More than enough of the ball for the liking of Michael Ulyaris. Kolo's cross. It wasn't bad. It looked as though it might drop for Eze. Will fall for one of his teammates. De Silva. That's for the safety of Aidan Olds. Heidelberg United going to be consigned to extra time. Early delivery, away by Leflin. Sunshine in uncharted territory. They've never been to extra time on the national stage. Heidelberg had an extra 30 in the cup final. And at the round of 16 stage in 2024, they were knocked out by Oakley Cannons on penalties. Kolo. Can North Sunshine finish with a wet sail? Another blazed away. Still early into his North Sunshine tenure as Archie Kolo. Just his 4th appearance since making the move across from France. Have got an injury concern here. Anthony Lesiotis, it looks just needing a bit of a stretch. In fact, it's Max Bassetto just getting some assistance. His facial expressions on his teammates don't look good. To his feet though, Max Bassetto, who was the victim of a very unfortunate and random injury in the Australian Championship last year. Dislocated his shoulder while swimming. Ruled him out for a number of weeks at the back end of the season. It's that kind of unfortunate luck that has carried into Heidelberg's season this year, at least in the last couple of months. Shifa Ahmed. Ryder Silva. Feasting against Beograd. The striker from Jersey has found the going a little tougher against NPL opposition tonight. Kadua. Brian. As they couldn't bring the ball under his spell. Lesiotis, he'll be keen to atone. Has not always been their friend this year, Heidelberg. They do have an esteemed reputation in Victoria for being the chief artists of the late show and scoring late, securing comebacks. As Eze thought he'd wriggled his way past the Burgers' defence. Nice flag of Dante Diaz denying him. Nico Duarte, the latest 2 exits. But I believe Heidelberg have used all of their substitution windows. Nico Duarte has not been his day tonight. 2 golden chances to put the Burgers ahead on the rebound and couldn't fire home on either occasion. It was tight. Heidelberg's defense were convinced. So Bramwell is now going to be that out-and-out line-leading presence after the introduction of the New Zealander, Joseph Lee. Colo. Sunshine Eagles fans wheeling them on. They'll get a corner. Colo looks as though he's just run out of puff here tonight. He's played more minutes this evening than all of his games so far since signing for the Eagles. That's going to be that. It's a bit of an interesting conundrum for Ben Isai and his coaching staff as to who they might turn to in this 5 minutes of second half stoppage.
And the referee has indicated 5 minutes of extra time.
The very real possibility of an additional 30 minutes of football after that. So of the options on the bench, Dion Matari and Ahmed Iadom were the most likely options, and it is the latter of those two who's going to be set to make his way onto Nasir Stadium. So on comes Ahmed Iadom, player who's in his second season at North Sunshine, has bounced around a few A-League academies, Brisbane Roar and Western United. He's actually a teammate of Heidelberg's Ryan Lethlin, the former of those two. And at long last, North Sunshine's corner, sent in to the box, and Shifar Ahmed trying to contort his body to find an opening. Another corner coming for North Sunshine. These are critical moments in the dying embers of the 90 in this round of 16 tie. And make no mistake, should the ball bowl to the back of the net, that North Sunshine active core will be going berserk. The biggest nights in their history. Could it have a fairy tale finish? Shove's corner to the top of the penalty area, not the most convincing stab, and Eze's flick not to the advantage of a teammate. Shove, the header forward, and the bounce takes all the danger out of it for Yaron Souza, who is not in a hurry whatsoever. Just curious when you consider that Heidelberg are not exactly ahead. It's a bold strategy. Lack of urgency on the part of the Heidelberg United stand-in skipper. One last push perhaps for the Burgers in the dying embers. We've already had one game tonight go to extra time. Apia, Leichhardt and Sydney United. Preston Lions getting things done far more comfortably against the side from the league below, defeating Brunswick Juventus 4-1. So it is going to be the big show in the quarterfinal. That's a poor pass, and Bissetto couldn't make North Sunshine pay on the first time. He's still going Max Bissetto, and North Sunshine do enough. It's getting helter-skelter at Nasir Stadium. 90 seconds left of stoppage time. Down goes Jay McGowan, and the whistle eventually arrives from Michael Ulyaris. 13th game between two Victorian sides in the national stage of the Cup. NPL sides, that is. The last one here at Nasiel Stadium went to extra time. South Melbourne and Hume in the 2024 quarterfinal. Are we headed for the same? Or is it going to be another moment of late magic from the side called the Cardiac Kids? Humbert's delivery, not fully cleared. And Humbert steals in and makes the ball his own. Murdakudis. Humbert again. Still going Marcus Humbert. And then on the turn is Lee. And Bramwell cuts it square. Oh, how have they not scored, Heidelberg? Seconds to go, scores level, and Jay McGowan somehow fires over the crossbar with the game there to be won. Well, it was panic stations in the North Sunshine defense. The last-ditch block from Ibrahim Kadur allowed the ball to fall squarely at the feet of Jay McGowan. With the keeper on the deck, with the defenders on the floor alongside him, blazed away. And is that the opportunity burn that consigns us to 30 more minutes? Or have North Sunshine got something up the sleeve? Shifar Ahmed! Oh, that was moving. Souza tips it over the crossbar for a North Sunshine corner. And this, you would have to think, is surely it in regulation time. That's the quality of which he's capable, Shifar Ahmed. The goals few and far between this year, but has scored well in the Cup, did score in the round of 32. There'll be a North Sunshine late show. Shove sends it in, double fist, and El Hawley robbed of it by Humbert. And that'll do it in the 90. We are off to extra time to decide the final quarter-finalist between Heidelberg United and North Sunshine Eagles. The 10 men of the Burgers have hung on for over an hour, and now they'll have 30 more minutes of football that await to see if they can survive an almighty North Sunshine scare at Nasiel Stadium. The full-time score, North Sunshine Eagles 0, Heidelberg United 0. 30 more minutes of football to come. Well, they may not have had the bulk of the possession. Heidelberg United with 14 second half shots, and those highlights did lay bare the fact that Heidelberg United, despite their disadvantages in terms of possession and men on the field, have been the aggressors in terms of taking the lead. Can they hold out though? Because with an extra 30 minutes, they will tire, and North Sunshine may well get the opportunities to hit the front in their first ever taste of national stage extra time. It's deja vu for the Burgers. Additional 30 minutes of football in the national rounds for the second year running. Rory Bryan is one of, if not the foremost reasons as to why we are going to be graced with an additional half hour. Team in relegation danger in the second tier of Victoria against a side on an unprecedented 8-game winless run in their NPL competition. 21 places apart on the pyramid, you wouldn't know it. So far, North Sunshine start the extra time period with a sub, and it's a great moment for one of the father-son stories of this North Sunshine club, Dion Mutari, whose father is a former player. He comes on as extra time gets underway at Nasiol Stadium. We are going all the way to pick out the last quarter-finalist going through to the last 8 of the Australia Cup. Shifra Ahmed to pick out Mutari, but not to be. What do these two sets of players have left in the tank?
North Sunshine Eagles coming off number 9, Reed Santos, and coming on number 14, Dion Mutari.
You can tell it's a big name at Larissa Reserve. That cheer on the sideline. Shifra Ahmed looking to get involved again. He tested the keeper before. Edom on the spin. Doesn't quite catch it, does the substitutes. Well, Heidelberg have had their fair share of extra time periods in the last few years. This is relatively rarefied air for the North Sunshine Eagles. Haven't gone to extra time in the Cup since 2023. Actually knocked out of the preliminary rounds on penalties by the Yarraville Glory. So a relative cup set. Yarraville Glory, actually the former clubs of John Anastasiadis. Last club of his playing career. Pretty sure he was a player coach at Yarraville as well. Chief Lofty Heights, both with Heidelberg and with South Melbourne, most notably in the National Soccer League, John Anastasiadis. He's made a sterling name for himself as a coach in his own right. As Shifra Ahmed is trying to make life difficult for Ryan Lethlean. Lethlean holds his nerve. Mercurial talents of Shifra Ahmed look as though they're going to be the most likely routes for North Sunshine. Ahmed. El Hawley. Driven away again by Heidelberg. Who's going to be the player who makes himself a hero at Nasiol Stadium in the round of 16? Shove. Ruben De Silva. Only De Silva now out there now that Rye has come off. Kadua. They were having such a hard time finding a breakthrough this Burgers back line that shot was not totally out of the question. Might be a night where a moment of inspiration such as that decides it. Credit to Heidelberg, they have defended rather well since going down to 10 nearly an entire hour ago. Really has been the attacking side of things that's let them down this season. Only 28 conceded in NPL Victoria this year, and that's a figure that only few can better. One thing Heidelberg did not need, fatigued as they are, still recovering from last season, was an additional 30 minutes of football at this critical period of the season. That will be a real bellyache for John Anastasiadis. As breaking away was El Hawley. And Ryan Lethlean had to push back to clear, but got the job done. Signal given by Corentin Chauve. He wants his players to march forward and make options for him. It's been one-way traffic so far to start the extra time period. Can the Eagles make the pressure count? Eze. Well blocked by Razmovsky. .30 shots across 95 minutes of football. Heidelberg United with no less than 3 glorious chances as Kim Min Chan is the latest North Sunshine player to hit the deck. I mentioned that there are a couple of players in this 11 who have been largely reserved for playing cup football and not being picked for the league. Kim Min Chan, not one of them. He has played 18 times in VPL 1 this season. Back down is the Korean. Penny for the thoughts of the North Sunshine coaching staff at the present moment. In a bit of a peculiar holding pattern here, in all honesty, where waiting for the physio to come on for North Sunshine. Heidelberg wants the player off the field, and at long last, Samuel Di Natale, the team doctor, is out on the field to provide the Korean Kim Min Chan a helping hand. Benisai is issuing the final instructions to the teenager, Levent Oxa. He's going to come on at fullback for Kim Min Chan, so a like-for-like replacement. Oxa having made his North Sunshine Eagles debut in the Cup away to Collingwood City. And at long last, Corentin Chauve's corner, which is cleared by Heidelberg. Kadua and Humbert contest. Humbert managing to wriggle away, but not able to stud it to a teammate. Shifar Ahmed leading his defenders on a merry dance. Mutsari is the latest to be denied by North Sunshine, or rather Heidelberg's defense. Nice footwork from El Hawley. Shove. Corentin Shove. And ever increasingly, it's feeling like it could be one of those games. Someone will uncork the genie from that sort of range. Corentin Shove, he has scored no shortage of good goals across his 100-plus games for North Sunshine. He's taken more of a deeper role over the years. He used to be quite a free-scoring player in his first few seasons here in Australia. Shifra Ahmed, the man on the move for North Sunshine. Corentin Shove again. And the flag already up against Sunshine's attackers, so even if he did catch it that time around, it'd have counted for noughts. Just a bit of slight laziness on the part of the late second half substitute Ahmed Iadom. Olds. He's playing with fire as a central defender, pulling out those sort of moves in that situation, but he made it look very good. And it's allowed North Sunshine to get a bit of pressure relief on the opposite side. Levent Oxa heading to grounds. First taste of the national stage for the 19-year-old. He was an unused sub in that round of 32 win against FK Beograd. Iadom. Obiora Eze. Oh, it's a great cross. Shifra Ahmed. Can he get the shot away? Oh, what a heroic piece of defending from Ryan Lethlean. Shifra Ahmed denied, although he'll be disappointed that he wasn't able to strike first time. Wonderful pick out from Eze. And Shifra Ahmed, who has form against the Burgers, could not repeat the trick. In this game of incident-fueled fare, Yaron Souza, he's just signalled for a substitution there. It's a disappointing swing and a miss. You could see, while he did manage to get boots a ball, Shifra Ahmed, and allowed Ryan Lethlean to steal in. Maybe that signal either not serious as first feared or not in fact for Yaron Souza. It's Max Bassetto, who you may remember was down late on with similar issues before the extra time period. Perhaps now it's Western United youngster. He's going to have his day come to a close. The silver lining for Heidelberg United is that it is going to offer up what is always a profoundly special moments in the career of any young player. Nicholas Zimos, the 17-year-old, after 8 appearances on the bench across League and Cup as an unused sub, comes on for his Heidelberg United debut. The latest player to wear the rich and storied yellow and black of Heidelberg United. His first season at the club, having come through the likes of Western United and Essendon Royals at junior level. So a great moment for the teenager. His first task is defending this North Sunshine corner. And Opportunity for Shove. Denied because Iadom got up in front of him. Shove stayed on. Picks out Iadom. Right-footed ball into the box, a good one. It slipped through the legs of Dion Mutari. Shake of the head from Yaron Souza. He knows what a nervy moment that could have been. And it still, in some senses, was. Nicely done by El Hawley. In a season, in a period where John Anastasiadis has been left time and again to lament his side's difficulty in taking their chances. Is this to be the latest instance of it biting them? Or can they finally find a way? Iadom! Iadom! Oh, it's a brilliant save. Eze gets the ball back in, but cut out by Joseph Lee. And as 4 minutes of stoppage are added on to the first period of extra time. More Sunshine may just have timed their run well. Iadom, a player who has more than got this in the locker. It bent ferociously towards Souza's goal. Had a few siders from range. That's as close as they've gotten. Corner taken short. Shove! Blocked by Lesiotis. Oxa recycles. Knotted down as and Aiden Olds were both in offside positions. One more look because it is worth another. Ahmed Iadom. Oh, that would have been as worthy a winner of a round of 16 game as you're likely to see. But not to be. Zimos. Able to keep it alive but little more, but the tenacious teenager is making his presence known. And is rewarded for his perseverance and persistence with a Heidelberg United set piece. That's what John Anastasiadis will want to see, a bit of teenage tenacity. Lesiotis' delivery high for Brian, who had to glove it away. It's been a cagey first period of extra time. It's been mostly defending for Heidelberg. Now it's North Sunshine's turn. Heidelberg cannot afford an injured player in extra time though. All of their outfielders, save for Carl O'Sullivan, who is on the bench tonight, but my suspicion would be that he's on the bench to make up numbers, because speaking to John Anastasiadis earlier today, he told me that Carl O'Sullivan is still a week away at least. Bramwell trying to find an opening is Kieran Bramwell. Protests that it took a touch. Michael Oliaris' judgment is the opposite. Lapia Leichhardt and Sydney United are 4 minutes away from going to penalties. Yes, John Anastasiadis and his Heidelberg United side 15 minutes away from the same fate. Neither of these two sides' last shootouts ended very well for them. It is a fate they will be keen to avoid. But there is only one way it can be avoided, and it won't be with passes like that. Zimos up the line. The first half extra time stoppage has expired. And North Sunshine, an interesting extra time period for them. They had the big chances. But after 115 minutes of football, 105 rather, it's still the same as we started. North Sunshine Eagles and Heidelberg United locked at 0-0. And as the bodies get tired, and as hope starts to flicker, our penalties beckoning at Nasiol Stadium? Possibly, but 15 minutes still to go in a game where you cannot say that either side has not had the chances to hit the front. That was a chance for Max Basetto 5 minutes in, and it feels like a world away. This red card really turned the tie in North Sunshine's favour. Ben Collins sent off after 37 minutes, but despite that, Heidelberg inside the 90 created the best chances to score. Nick Duarte could have and probably should have scored. Denied by a brilliant double save from Rory Bryan, who was to be a continually central character in the story of this cup tie. And he stood tall here again, denying Anthony Lesiotis, and then managing to smother the ball in the wake of Jay McGowan and Nico Duarte. And then right at the end of the 90, once again, Heidelberg left to cast their head to the heavens and say, how have we not found a way to bulge the back of the net? And then in extra time, it was mostly hopeful siders, and of them, this one was the best. Ahmed Iadom bringing the best out of Yaron Souza. But despite all of those golden chances you've just seen, we're 15 minutes away from spot kicks on the national stage between North Sunshine and Heidelberg. 21 places between them on the pyramid, down an entire league and then some. Heidelberg in the finals places in NPL Victoria. North Sunshine in danger of relegation from the Victorian Premier League. But they have been at each other's necks for over an hour and 45 minutes. North Sunshine are hoping to continue the control they had of extra time into the second period of it. As the set piece situation beckons for the right boots of North Sunshine's fantastic Frenchman, Corentin Chauve. Here's now the time for North Sunshine. It's Heidelberg again who do their defensive work diligently. Shifra Ahmed, well, he was another who had a very, very gilt-edged opportunity to put North Sunshine in front. Corner taken short. El Hawley bides his time. Now it's in from El Hawley. Mordakudis stamping his authority. Kadua coming together with Marcus Humberts. Both players have gone down worse for wear. This has been a frightening game for John Anastasiadis, already carrying so many injuries. And on so many occasions his players have gone down on the turf. I think there's perhaps, I'm not being particularly generous here, but a bit of exaggeration on the part of Marcus Humbert, who is already back onto his feet, but Luckily back up to his feet. But John Anastasiadis, he did see a player clutching at their face in the round of 32. Fletcher Fulton. And that ended up being a broken nose for the Tasmanian winger turned fullback. At the end of all of that, Ibrahim Kadua has gone into the book for that coming together with Marcus Humberts. The crowd springing back into action. You can hear the chant of Shkiponya, the Albanian word for eagle, ringing out at Naciol Stadium. A good 30 minutes drive from their home at Larissa Reserve tonight, but North Sunshine have taken their chance to host an Australia Cup National Round game with both hands tonight. A good crowd in. It's been a Australia Cup tournament for the Victorian teams. Every single one of them made it through to the round of 16. Of course, some of the A-League sides, one of them in Melbourne City, has left us now. So well have they performed, Victoria, that now they're forced to knock one another out, as Preston did against Brunswick Juventus in front of over 2,000 at CB Smith. A great crowd in the house out in Faulkner. Eidom started building into the game, has Ahmed Eidom. Shifar Ahmed breaking away, hunting his time for a teammate, Seneze. And always going to be an awkward one, receiving the ball at that angle. And so the ball spills over the top from the 21-year-old, who back in 2024, back when he was playing for Hume, Heidelberg United fans may not like me mentioning, he was part of the Hume side that knocked the Burgers out of the NPL Victoria finals on penalties at Olympic Village. The second of 2 penalty shootout defeats in the space of a fortnight against the Cannons in the round of 16, that same year being the other. It's not going to be Burger deja vu, surely. It could. Eze. Really good piece of sliding work by Lesiotis. Playing his close to 75th game in the course of the last 18 months today, Anthony Lesiotis, and you wouldn't know it from the way he acquits himself. Shove. Eze driving forward, still with Menasobi or Eze. It's missed by Souza, who is trying to deny a forthcoming corner. Cannot deny a forthcoming corner. And again, you can't help but wonder, had Shifar Ahmed had his wits about him, could he have potentially gobbled that up? Maybe not. There was quite a few Burgers markers in his midst. Has to be said that for all the set pieces both sides have had tonight, finding clear-cut opportunities in them has proved a tricky task. Is that about to change at Naciol Stadium? A goal to bring the house down. It's headed away by Heidelberg again. Oksar, Shove. Pings it back to Ibrahim Kadua. Heidelberg setting their numbers behind the ball there. Seem at points almost content to play for penalties. De Silva. Kudus has been monolithic in the middle of that Heidelberg back line. Eidom. He's taken them closest in extra time. That's a cross that might sit for Eze. Kadua, he thought about it. Has already tried it once. Shove. North Sunshine with a half-field game at the moment. Will the pressure pay? Eidom's clip flicked on by by Dion Mutari. All too easy for Yaron Souza. Which is that long in the night sky here at Broadmeadow. It is a ground that is over the Tullamarine Airport flight path, and it's a good thing none of them were traveling overhead. That was a very high goal kick. 39 shots, no goals. We couldn't have come much closer. But as things stand, 7 minutes between North Sunshine, Heidelberg, and penalties for a shot in the quarterfinals. That'll fall the way of Iadom. He's looking one of the most likely for them right now. Corentin Chauve again brings out the best of Souza, who is able to finger it away at the cost of a corner. The evidence this game is giving us, if it is not to be decided by penalties, it is almost certainly going to be a goal to savor from someone who makes himself a hero. In swinging ball, away at the first time of asking by Heidelberg. Chauve. Oxa, the youngster, not a bad ball. Big wave of the arms from Michael Oliaris. In truth, the shouts in the penalty box were half-hearted. Rory Bryan has had nothing to do so far in this game. That's a classy little turn from Moel Hawley. You have to imagine that even though he's been quiet in the last 20 minutes, Rory Bryan, he'd be going into a penalty shootout with all manner of confidence, having saved Anthony Lesiotis. Back in the regulation. Oxa, the latest to meet the first Heidelberg shirt in the box. Chauve. El Hawley. Heidelberg are in the trenches at the moment. They are digging deep. Iadom. Ahmed. Iadom. He's going to keep trying it until it works, Ahmed Iadom. Slightly nervous figure from Yaron Souza, but I think he knew that was travelling wide of goal in the end. And Yaron Souza is back to the turf once more. I don't know whether he's just hoping for a breather or whether there are deeper lying concerns here. He has not played a lot of football in the last month. The question is, will they be rallying to get behind one of the goals if we go to penalties, or will they stay in their supporter area? And will Yaron Souza be able to take part in a potential penalty shootout? Haven't had too much to smile about in the last week. Doherty Cup disappointment on Sunday for those Heidelberg United fans. It's the side against whom they do not like to lose in the Preston Lions. Getting through to the next round of this cup that's been so good to them over the years would give them a much needed sliver of hope for the final chapters of season 2026. Can Heidelberg strike against the flow? It's a great ball for Lee, who checks back onto the right. Joseph Lee. You've seen what North Sunshine have been offering up. He wanted a piece of the action. It's been a good good scorer of cup goals for the Burgers. 3 of his 4 have come across Australia and Doherty Cup. Cleared out by Lee. We are 2 minutes and stoppage away from another set of spot kicks in the round of 16. SD Raiders knocked out MacArthur last night. South Melbourne getting the job done just against Fremantle City on Sunday. Sydney United and Apia to penalties too. Are we to follow suit here? Done by Bramwell to nip in. Hasn't been able to do too much attacking since coming on, Kieran Bramwell. He's got every reason to go further. Another who wasn't part of the cup run last year, albeit did make the semi-finals with the Melbourne Knights, knocking out Heidelberg in the process in 2023. John Anastasiadis urging all of his Burgers behind the ball. I have to imagine if there is going to be a winner in 120, that North Sunshine could be the team. Edom leaves it for Shove. Heard the call from the captain. He's trying to move the Magnets further afield, but there's not a lot of motion. Will they get one more crack to make this game their own? It would be a moment North Sunshine will never forget. Olds patiently waiting for that final chance as Shove shifts it wide to Oxa. Back with Shove. Just guilty of being too clever by half. Souza collects. We're into additional time, and it's just the 1 extra minute. Just as Heidelberg thought that the goal kick would give them 1 extra push, North Sunshine with a deep set piece on the way. They've taken it quickly. How generous is Michael Ulyaris going to be? Kadua. Final seconds before we go to spot kicks. Oxa, can they find that killer ball? It's thumbed away, and it will be spot kicks to decide the last spot in the quarterfinals. 21 places on the Victorian pyramid apart, but North Sunshine Eagles and Heidelberg United cannot be separated after 120 minutes of football. And it is going to be the highest drama possible to decide the last Victorian club in the last 8. North Sunshine, they are getting their money's worth on the national stage. A victory from a team in the league above in the round of 32. Now they will take on the Titans of Heidelberg in the penalty shootout, and they'll go into it with confidence because Rory Bryan, let's not forget, earlier in this game has already made 1 penalty save. This was the penalty call that preceded it. Marcus Humbert going to the ground. Will Anthony Lesiotis be a taker, because Rory Bryan had his measure? Bryan is a good spot kick specialist, and he will hope to stand tall as North Sunshine will have the chance to become just the third tier side in the Australian football pyramid. So the second tier of Victorian state football, but third tier nationally to reach the quarterfinals of the Australia Cup. And the water bottle might have a bit of instruction to aid him. It's been a while since Heidelberg have been to penalties. Twice in the space of a week in 2024, and they were heartbroken on both occasions by Hume and the Oakley Cannons. Does that water bottle have a few tidy tips for Rory Bryan? Heidelberg United hoping that at the end of all of this, they can make the quarterfinals of the Cup for a record-extending 6th time by an NPL side. They have only ever failed once in the round of 16, but it was on penalties. Sunshine have dared to dream. They've defied the odds. They have stared down not just one Goliath, but multiple in this first ever run to the national rounds. And the North Sunshine fans are on the move. They've worked out which side is going to be the spot kick side. All eyes on Rory Bryan. Heidelberg United have not won an Australia Cup penalty shootout since the 2017 round of 16 when they emerged victorious away to Sydney United. So they're 1-1 on the national stage. And those North Sunshine Eagles fans scrambling to get behind the goal are going to try and make their life all manner of difficult. Rory Bryan, the mind game's already starting. We saw Michael Figuera of SD Raiders trying to get under the skin of MacArthur players last night, and it worked. Will this be another shootout for the keepers? It got very untoward between SD Raiders and MacArthur last night. So it will be Heidelberg United up first. Kieran Bramwell against Rory Bryan to get us going in the shootouts. Kieran Bramwell in NPL Victoria this season has missed his one and only penalty. And there's a bit of consternation going on in the benches here because Yaron Souza, we were talking about that water bottle before. Yaron Souza spotted it, picked it up, ran away with it, took it to the Heidelberg bench. And that is why North Sunshine have had their ire incited. I will say Yaron Souza is no stranger to these sort of antics in penalty shootouts, and a member of the North Sunshine coaching staff has received his marching orders for his attempts to get the bottle back. And he will feel that that is a worthy sacrifice for the cause. And the North Sunshine ball kids will now be protecting that water bottle with the instructions. So acrimony to start the shootout. The upshot is that Kieran Bramwell, who has missed his one and only penalty in NPL Victoria this season, has had to wait an eternity to get us going in the shootout. The last place in the quarterfinal of the Cup, going down to the wire, Kieran Bramwell to kick us off. And Bramwell gets Heidelberg off and running. Missed penalty earlier in the year. No problems for Kieran Bramwell. Rory Bryan went the right way, but the placement was very good indeed from the 24-year-old striker. Bit of a surprise first taker here for North Sunshine. There's the penalty, very good. Squeezed it under Rory Bryan. Ruben De Silva, who by my maths and record keeping has never scored a senior goal for North Sunshine. Could his first be in a penalty shootout against one of Victorian football's best goalkeepers? He's missed. Advantage Heidelberg after 2 kicks. And the pressure of the penalty environment just proves a task too tall for Ruben De Silva, who's dragged his penalty wide. And now Rory Bryan really will be hoping he can conjure some more heroics. Just dragged it too wide, and you fancy Souza guessing the right way that he would have had it covered, but classy moment from Aidan Olds and Corentin Chauve to throw their arm around the youngster. Behind, but not out by any stretch. Marcus Humberts can put Heidelberg in command. He doesn't! Bryan saves brilliantly! And the penalty heroics of Rory Bryan continue into the shootouts. And Marcus Humbert has spurned the opportunity to put Heidelberg well and truly on top. And it was a very solid save. The reaction from Rory Bryan, he was loving it, so too with the North Sunshine fans. But North Sunshine still have to score to draw our shootout level. Shiffer Ahmed. He scored against Heidelberg before in the colours of Green Gully. What say him from the spot kick? It's a great penalty, and North Sunshine are on the board. All square in the shootout after 2 penalties apiece. Really nicely done by Shiffer Ahmed. It's the technical quality of which he is more than capable, and that time he was able to show it. And it's time for round 2. Anthony Lesiotis will step up, 3rd for Heidelberg. Rory Bryan had his measure with 10 minutes to go in the 90. What does the sequel have in store? Oh, how about that from Lesiotis? A pitch-perfect Panenka. And he has atoned for the earlier error in style. That is delightful from Anthony Lesiotis. And there's a bit of sporting applause from Rory Bryan to appreciate the class and quality of the Heidelberg midfielder, who knows nothing more than that. So it's the captain up next for North Sunshine. Corentin Chauve. The Frenchman has scored penalties for North Sunshine previously this season. This one is his biggest of the year. And he scores it comfortably. Another top-notch penalty from North Sunshine. And they have needed them. That is exactly what you require from your captain in a situation such as this. Cool, calm, spot picked, and well and truly in the fight for a quarterfinal spot. Joseph Lee up next. Rory Bryan. He couldn't again, could he? 3 saves across the night it would be. He's gotten a card for his antics. He has sorted out the ball. Has he got the beating of Brian? No, he does, and how? Off the underside of the crossbar and in. The closer we get towards a full 5, the more the pressure amps up on North Sunshine, particularly with penalties like that from Joseph Lee. Now this is a really pivotal penalty indeed. Because if Aidan Olds does not score against his junior club, North Sunshine will be on the brink. The central defender finds a way into the corner. An unorthodox approach, but it was enough to get the beating of Yaron Souza. He had a bit of lip, a bit to say about it as well. As casual an approach as you're likely to see. Quite the Pogba stutter step, the Bruno Fernandes skip, hop and a jump, but however you get it in the back of the net, you take it in situations like this. Jay McGowan, he could have won it for Heidelberg. Can he help them to keep ticking in the shootouts? McGowan is saved by Brian! Rory Bryan is writing his name directly into North Sunshine folklore. 2 saves in the shootout, 1 in the 90, and North Sunshine now step up to the spots for the chance to knock Heidelberg United, the cup finalists last year, out in the round of 16. Bryan have been savable height penalties, all of them, but he stood tall on every occasion. Now Yaron Souza has to do the same. Ahmed Iadom, for a moment beyond North Sunshine's wildest dreams on their national stage debut. He scores! The North Sunshine Cinderella story is going through to the quarterfinals. A night this proud club will never ever forget. They have slain an NPL juggernaut from the relegation zone of VPL 1 to the quarterfinals of the Australia Cup. North Sunshine prevail on penalties against the 2025 Cup finalist, Heidelberg United. And this is an Australia Cup debut like few before. The scenes tell the story. North Sunshine with a fairy tale from the third tier. 0-0 after 120. North Sunshine Eagles win 4-3 on penalties. And the Eagle will soar into the quarterfinals. They are just the third, or rather the second team from the third tier of the Australian footballing pyramid to reach the final 8. The first in 7 years when Brunswick Juventus took a trip to Queensland. Well, now North Sunshine will be doing the same. Off they go to the Sunshine State to take on Lions FC for a shot at the semis. And for this club, who have only won a handful of games all season, may very well be ending up in VPL 2 at the end of this season. This is a night among all nights to hold in their memory. scenes to last a lifetime. For all the Eagles who've watched, for all the Eagles who have made the journey to Nassau Stadium. And Ahmed Eidom is the most superb of substitutes. He has heartbroken Heidelberg, who miss out on the chance to reach the cup final again for the second season running. And as disappointed as they will be, you cannot take away from the joy of North Sunshine here tonight. "12 years of long waits to get a taste of the national stage. They had no idea it would be this sweet." And Rory Bryan is a name that will be remembered at Larissa Reserve for forever and a day. Multiple saves in the shootouts. A penalty save in the 90 to go with a string of other outstanding stops. The guy who was at points a reserve keeper, in and out of starting contention in the top flight, has just come up against one of its biggest boys and sent them packing. What a way to end the Hahn Australia Cup round of 16 here at Nassau Stadium. 2 penalty shootouts on the final night. And Apia and the North Sunshine Eagles are going through to the quarterfinals. That they were up to their necks in this game from minute 1 to 120. 42 shots. They could not find a way, either of them, to breach that clean sheet that the two sides held on to. But North Sunshine Eagles have the last laugh in the shootouts. And they will be laughing and cheering and chanting and dancing and smiling all the way back home to Larissa Reserve. They will be joined in the quarterfinals by the Preston Lions, who put Brunswick Juventus to the sword 4-1. That was a boring, calm old affair by contrast to the rest of the evening. Apia Leichhardt sending Sydney United from the NPL in the round of 16.
Say hello to my family in France, everyone.
And from France to North Sunshine, a result that will be heard and remembered all around the world for this noisy club from Larissa Reserve. What a magical night for North Sunshine as they go through to the quarterfinals for the first time in their history and in their first time ever in the Cup. It really has been a magic of the Cup night indeed. We hope you've enjoyed it. The full-time score from Larissa Reserve, 0-0, North Sunshine through to the quarterfinals on penalties.
Come on!